This is the Valley's news talk and podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome to S.K.I.R.T. Talk. We got our support back. Woo!
Happy to be back.
We are missing our Bianca, so shout out to you. Hope you're having fun in Vegas. But I'm Ebonique, and this is
Angela,
Sephora,
Chrissy.
So we are going to get into today. So the drink I have for today, I don't even know what this drink is.
Pink Moscato.
Pink Moscato.
And it's already empty. Yeah. It's been a rough week.
And then you have some Hawaiian Punch.
Just for a little color.
And then we have strawberries mixed in with it. And that is our drink of the day. I normally make it a little different way because I make it with my strawberry shortcake topping, which I just didn't have time and completely forgot to make it. And then you mix it with everything and then add a Cool Whip and stuff on it. So I'll make it again another day with that. But that's what we're drinking on today. And so today we're going to go over the topics we went last week, which was domestic violence. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we'll go into our fishbowl. And yeah, that's about it for today. So,
salute first.
Salute. Oh, you want to salute?
Yes.
Skirt talk.
Skirt talk.
Skirt talk. Alrighty.
Another day, another dollar.
You could also do a sugar rim. And this would be
good.
amazing.
Sugar rim. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know what
I'm
I
gonna
want
do
to
that
try?
because I love sugar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need it, but I love it.
You know
I am sugar.
Right? I was going to say I'm enough sugar.
Let me
All
turn
the
this
sugar
down.
that
My
you
bad.
need, baby.
I'm trying to share our thing. So also, I don't know if you guys seen our post, but on our post and our page, our IG page, our Facebook page, we have the numbers for domestic violence. It has for children, sexual abuse, all those on there. So if anybody's suffering or going through that, go ahead and tune in to that and you guys can see. We'll go ahead and start with who wants to speak on domestic violence. So the question was, have you been through it? If you have been through it, how did you get through it? How did you get out of it? Or are you still going through it? And then how did it affect your life? What did it do to you going through that? Did it make you stronger, weaker? What did it do? So if anybody has been through it or anything or can answer any of those questions, you could put them inside of the chat and we'll take a look at them, and then also we'll go through our own stories. I do have a friend that she chimed in when I posted it and everything, and she's been through it. And that's the thing I love about this show, because I'm finding out things about my friends that I never knew and everything. And so I'm like, shoot, she can be an inspiration to somebody else.
Yeah.
So she had told her story and everything. So please, ladies, even gentlemen, tune in and put if you guys have been through it, because you never know who it can help. Somebody may be going through domestic violence, sexual abuse, child abuse or something, and need help, that are tuning in, and your story, your comments that you may have put in will help somebody else out. So, all right, ladies, it's on y'all.
I got something off of the top of the dome that's actually pretty deep. My first abusive relationship was with my mother.
Ooh. Okay.
And that for me set the tone for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was abusive in her relationships, back and forth, him abusing her and her abusing him, and just them going at it. So later in my life, when I met up with her again, I was actually living in Long Beach, and she had just got out of jail. And I was like, well, come live with me, Mom. Like, you know. And I felt like I was just, in other words, so thirsty to have that mother-daughter relationship that I was willing to do whatever it took to have her in my life. So I invited her to come and live with me. And I wasn't used to calling her mom.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I would call her by her first name.
Mm-hmm.
And she hated that. Like, she would flip. And I was like, well, I got to get used to calling you mom. Like, my whole life, I've been calling somebody else mom. So you have to give me time to make that transition to feel comfortable enough to say mom.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And she was just like, no, you're going to call me mom. You're not going to call me by my first name. So I had to, like, force myself to remember that every time I addressed her, I would call her mom instead of her first name. Girl, one day, she was talking some stuff to me, and we were arguing back and forth, and I had called her by her first name. She lost it on me. She picked me up by my neck, and she threw me up against the wall, and, like, my feet were, like, dangling. I was like,
Wow.
And how old were you at this
how
time?
old were you?
I was 21, 22.
Wow.
And for me, I was like ready to fight back, but she was so strong that I could only concentrate on getting her hands from around my neck.
Yeah.
So after she put me down, I told her to get out. Like, you gotta go. All of this extra you putting your hands on me, it's a wrap. Like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I know in the Bible they say honor your mother and your parents, but it goes for both sides.
Right.
You have to honor your children, and your children have to honor you, no matter what. And so, after I asked her to leave, I had gone about a long time without speaking to her. Actually, I didn't speak to her until Prince was born.
Wow.
And that was back in 2000 and, well, when I asked her to leave, it was 2012. When I spoke to her again, it wasn't until 2017. Prince was like 1.5.
Yeah.
So I needed like that much time away to be like,
Try to heal.
yeah. So one of my aunties, she was very adamant. Call your mom, call your mom, call your mom. Shout out to my auntie Sharon. Call your mom, call your mom. She would always tell me, call your mom, contact your mom. You know, at least if something ever happens, you know, at least you want to try again. So I was like, no. Then after all of this time, I contacted her.
Yeah.
I introduced her to my kids. We met up. And I didn't like the way she spoke to my kids. And that for me was the first red flag for her not to be around my kids.
So did you guys get through this?
No.
Yes.
I tried again reaching out to her when COVID, all of this madness broke out. Because I was like, oh, dang, you know, I want to at least see if she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool for like the first couple of weeks because I didn't contact her often. We didn't speak all day, every day. But just the other day, actually, I had to just ask her, like, you know, I can't do this with you no more because you're verbally abusive, and I just can't. Anytime I vocalize how you're making me feel, you brush it off and treat me like I'm doing something wrong. And a lot of that's abuse, and a lot of people don't know that that's psychological abuse. That's
is.
emotional
It
abuse.
is.
And not only were you physically abusive with me, but now you're emotionally and psychologically abusive too. And I just don't want a relationship with a person like that, no matter who you are.
And that's like one of the hard things is, you know, abuse is period is hard, horrible to go through, anything like that. But when it's like your mom or your dad, your spouse, like somebody that's dear to your heart
Yeah.
and everything, it's so much harder to go through.
Yeah. It affected me as an adult because I'm super defensive now towards anything and anybody. Like, I'm just always up on a defense. And I try not to be a lot of times because I don't want to reflect that onto other people, especially ones who don't deserve it. But that's how it affected me in my life, is I'm just super defensive.
Yes.
And I take everything personal. And it may not even be that, you know, someone's trying to be that way. It's just me.
Yeah.
And the inner work that I have to do because of what I've been doing.
And that's the thing with abuse, like, it's the snowball effects. It affects you late in the later years. That is a really good topic because in my culture, it's not even defined. It's swept under the rug. It's become part of our culture. The way our culture is built like on the backs of men, like it's a male dominated culture. Women are or were once looked at as property, like we cannot surpass our men in the culture. And when you get driven women who are not part of this generation, it's hard to break that. Like even for myself, and my parents raised me to be very independent. And then I'm trying to date Samoan men, and Samoan men are used to do as I say. The man leads. Like it's the topic of conversation now with the biggest Samoan couple in mainstream media, Kalani and Asuelu. And everything that Asuelu is showcasing on the show is textbook Samoan men. Textbook. Like they'll lash out in anger, they'll be verbally abusive, they'll throw things, and then next day it's a new day. We're okay. No, don't bring it up. I don't apologize. I'm the head of the house, and this is what it is. So it's breaking those barriers. Like this week alone, this year alone, a lot of Polynesian women have come forward about their abusers and abuse they've suffered. And other cases have made it further that have become, like worldwide news. Like one girl, a family, there was a video of her circulating. Her spouse literally stabbed her.
Oh, wow.
Like slaughtered her with a machete at the gas station that she worked at, and then lit the gas station on fire.
Wow.
And this family drove by, was just videotaping her body on the ground. And that shows you the mentality of bystanders, of people that are involved, that this is common.
No, and it's not.
That's just a domestic dispute.
Yeah.
In our culture, that's just a domestic dispute. We don't get involved.
Yep.
So you guys don't have like any help or outlet, or it's frowned upon if you guys even speak about it or something, or how?
Yes, because you're shaming the family.
Wow.
And one of my girlfriends, one of her organization, Big Push, they're doing big things now. It's called Brown Girl Woke, and it's starting from the girls in high school, giving them tools, that, giving them back their voice, that you do not have to put up with this, and starting there, because our older generation of women, it's what they know, so they can't move away from it, like they can't help what they know, just like my parents, they can't help what they know. But it's a taboo topic. Like it's sad for me to see my sisters this way, but our men are in such denial,
So what do you guys do? So because I know like in your culture, you guys date within your culture, you guys really don't date outside your race. So if like the majority of the men are like this, how do you find or date or be with a man that's not like that? Like, is there a way besides, I know you gotta date him, get to know, but
do you
like,
either
how
find
do
a
you do
unicorn like I did, or
okay, so what's
you
a unicorn?
suffer it?
Yeah, explain.
Yeah, what's a unicorn?
Yeah.
So the unicorn male that I've always searched for, and this is what I've told you guys, like I need somebody that's like me, who's got the modern Western mentality. You can navigate that world, but you also maintain your cultural identity. And some of the men in our culture cannot do both. It's like, no, we're Samoan and we're gonna keep what we do here. Like that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So when I tell you what we need to do, that's what I'm gonna do. It's like that's what you're gonna do. And they keep saying that the woman is the neck and the male is the head. So they tell us what to do. And I feel like that disconnect there with the progressive movement of women and the men being stagnant is what's causing this domestic violence even more in between people,
Yeah.
in our partners. Mm-hmm. So when I found my partner, when I found Keith, like he's open to it. Like there are things that we both need to work on, but he's willing to make those changes. Like when I first met him, what caught my attention was, I want a partner. I've never had a Samoan man say that to me.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Like we're equal. Not I'm lesser than you, but
Right.
we are equal. And it's hard to find that because they'll speak it, they'll talk about it, they'll verbalize it, but their actions don't speak it. And I'm probably going to be crucified for saying this, but you know what? Kalani girl, I'm with you on that. I feel your pain with Samoan men. It's like, but it's just, I blame it on ignorance, because the culture is all that they have ever known, and that's not a bad thing. But your stubbornness to not branch out and learn something new and recognize your toxic traits, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You can still keep your culture and still and also have an open mind.
And I don't think that's just in Samoan. Like a lot of abuse situations that men are abusive, they were raised in abusive situations, and usually take that into their raising of their kids, their marriage. So it's just not the Samoan culture, I believe. You know what I'm saying? That I just believe that it's how you're raised. You know what I mean? How men are raised. So. And women, I can't just say men, because men are not the only abusers. Women are abusers as well.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I have to own it too. I did become an
definitely-
abuser.
Yeah,
Yeah. It got, when I left one relationship, I had absorbed so much of that toxicity that the next relationship I was in, I was like, you're not gonna do this to me. I'm like, first, I'm gonna do it to you first.
yeah, exactly.
So after that, I learned, I was like, I do not want to be that person. I am so ugly right now. Like, what I'm doing, how I got, I do not like the person that I am now. And then I grew from it.
Yeah.
But some people don't have that growth.
Right.
Like, they're always going to go through life, I didn't do nothing wrong. It's you.
True.
It's
your
you,
fault.
it's not
Yep.
me.
It's
Oh,
so
We need
true.
those outlets of people to be able to, recognize what they're doing and stuff like that. So the more that we talk about things like that, the more people expose and stuff like that. Just like in our culture, a lot of times, the men are raised, of course, to be the head of the house, that you take care of the family, you do all this stuff and everything. You can't cry, because if you crying, that's kind of, you a punk, if you crying, what you crying for, suck it up, be a man, take care of business, where the women are, you should cook and clean and, take care of your man. And like in my family, we were, hey, take your man a plate, cook his plate, take it to him and stuff like that. And which I didn't have a problem with, but at the same time, I'm like, he can get up and cook his own food. Like, his life is not broke. Ain't nothing wrong with him. Like, where is the part where y'all say, okay, yes, take care of your man, send him a plate, but also to the man, take care of your wife, cook her some dinner,
exactly.
give her a plate, let her
Yeah.
relax. Like, where is that? Like, I didn't, hear that. And because my mom, she was a big cooker, she loves to cook, she just like did it all the time and everything. And my ex, when we were together and everything, the Lord, I swear he sent the right one for me. Because if I was like, I'm not cooking, you want some cereal, babe? Yeah, cool, I'll eat some cereal. Yes, thank you, Lord. Because I'm not a cooker. I like to bake, but cooking and everything. So, but I did fix his plate and different things like that. But to have to do that all the time, or Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving, feed the kids, get the man's plate. Okay, my kids is teenagers now, they can go get their own plate. When they're little, I understand that, but as man, go get your own plate. He can get his own plate, because if I put something on there he don't like, then it's gonna be an issue anyway. So like, hey, go get your own stuff, I'll get mine, we sit together and we eat. But that's just not how, like, in our culture, a lot of times we're raised that way. We're raised to fix their plate. But I don't know.
Question.
I don't know.
So
Sure.
when I had
me,
gone
y'all give me some juice.
through
I'm thirsty
this
today.
domestic incident, right, with one of my girlfriends told me that once it gets physical, or once it gets to that point, there's no saving the relationship. What are your thoughts on that?
To me, I would say they need to get outside help, some type of counseling, some type of, and all that, and then it has to be proven for a certain amount of time, being everything to be able to get that relationship to be able to work. I'm a big person on everybody but deserves a second chance, and regardless of what they do, because people go through something and you don't know what they're going through. And somebody that may just be an alcoholic, for instance, they're not an abusive person to me. The alcohol and them getting drunk turning them into an abuser and stuff, because they're not in their right mind and all that stuff. So to me, if that person gets help,
Right.
and you're a year sober, and you've got counseling and your mentality has changed, then why not be able to try that relationship if you guys truly love each other and want to be in it?
And that's the thing, they need to get help. They need to get help. Yeah, I've been in an isolated domestic violence incident before, and it wasn't a good thing to go through at all. Unfortunately, my kids were involved at one point in it, so some things were brought into my household that I didn't want to be brought into. But yeah, it's just, if that person does not get that help that they need, you should not stick in that relationship. They can, I believe, it can be changed, but I don't think that you should stick in it if it's not changed. Mm-hmm. Verbally, like you guys, emotional is abuse, verbal is abuse, and physical is definitely an abuse.
Right.
So definitely they need to get that help, because I do believe a person can change. So yeah.
So in your situation, how did you get out of it?
Well, it was an isolated incident where liquor was involved, and it got a little escalated than what it should have. Yeah, and it was just a very unfortunate incident. Which,
so
like
when
I said,
it happened, did you pick up and be like, "I'm done, I'm not coming back"?
Yeah, I did for a moment. Yes, I did. I was done because, like I said, my kids were involved. I did leave the situation for a long time, but yeah, I did have to take myself away until I knew I was safe and my kids would be safe. So.
Another question for thought, right? So physical domestic violence is really, that's something you can see, right?
Right.
Whether like it's covered up with clothes, like it's something that it can be discovered. Verbal and emotional and mental abuse. How can a woman who's been beaten down verbally so much, how can they discern that this is now abuse? Because we've all been in relationships, past relationships, toxic relationships, where there are heated arguments. Mm-hmm. You know, moments get very passionate, get very heated. Things are thrown at each other. You know, I've said things that I've regretted.
Yeah,
but
me too.
At what point does it go from it was just a heated argument to, okay, now it's abuse?
I think consistency.
Consistency.
If it's happening over and over and over again, and then it's not just, okay, this one or two isolated incidents. You know, if it keeps happening, then, you know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think if it's a consistent thing.
Yeah. Especially
and not consistent like every day.
Yeah.
But if it's like more than like
they're really comfortable with it.
Yeah, more than like a couple times a week, then that's consistent to me.
Yeah.
Like,
and no apology or no even effort of knowing that you did something wrong to come back. You know what? I was toe up. I understand what I did to you. I apologize. You know, da 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 da. Versus, you know, somebody, you get over it. Mm-hmm. You know, it happened. Mm-hmm. You know, that's more.
One of the things that I had to look for when the conversation stopped being, what's the word? Stopped being conducive, or stopped being, I don't know what the word is, but the conversation stopped being effective. It was no longer on the topic conversation, is when it turned into you.
Like it did.
You did this. You made me do this. You made me. Well, if you didn't do that, and that's when I learned, I was like, oh my God. And I learned to change my verbal language when I'm communicating to be like, I'm no longer throwing the yous out. I'm now feeling like, when you did this, remember when you did this? I felt like you don't do, like, you know, I started saying that this is what it looked like to me. Right. I'm not saying that's what you did. Because before, you know, we're just going back and forth. No, you did it. Nope. Yeah. Now we're making assumptions and putting thoughts in their heads that, like, I was in their head when they're making, like, some, it's a disagreement, miscommunication, that's misunderstanding that's now being blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're not equipped to handle that conversation as grown adults, even though we are grown adults, because this person you've invested so much time in, and how could you be so stupid? Like, you know, it's like at that moment, like, how could you, like, but if we took a step back and like, but I felt like you did that, and they can be like, okay, well, this is why I did it. Yeah. Like, then the conversation becomes more effective. It's leading toward to really identifying the problem. Right. When I had my panic attack on Friday, you know, it's really hard on Keith because, like, like when it's a full blown one, like I'm throwing stuff, like, and it's not at him, it's just around him. And it took him a long time to understand that it's not at him.
Right.
So we're there now, but now he's like, after I'm trying to come down from anxiety, and he was like, okay, so you got a phone call right before you blew up. What happened? Like, he's tracking where my trigger set off.
Where the root is.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, oh yeah, I got the phone call from sister that church is finished. And he goes, and you panicked. I get it. And I was like, yeah. And then that was it. And we understood each other. But before, we had such a miscommunication. He took it personal every single time. And we had to put in a lot of work with each other. Like, where we're at now is because we've gone through the hard stuff, you know? And typically, I would drop somebody when they do me wrong. But the difference between him and everybody else I've met is, like, he wants to make the changes with me.
That's
Like,
awesome.
you know,
That's
and
so
even
dope.
when we're in a situation where either something small he did is the catalyst that made the situation get worse, or I did, it's always, we need to be better about this. I'm sorry I blew up at that little thing, because when I blew up, you blew up, and now we're blowing up at each other. You know? So those are the things that I'm trying to change, and we keep telling each other, because he's been in a toxic one too, and he was like, I don't want to be myself anymore. I was like, I don't want to either. I don't want to draw that out of you. And I don't want you to draw that out of me either. Like, I don't want to be this ugly to you.
And well, at least you guys acknowledge that. You know what I mean? And you guys can move on from that. So that's good.
That's
dope
the
so
first
far.
step to growth is acknowledgement.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
I
that's
love
what
that
think.
you said that that I feel and stuff, because shout out to Pastor Pierce. He, when early in my marriage and everything, he told us, he was like, instead of, like you said, blaming each other and saying when you guys have an argument or something's going on, say, I feel, and then go into what you're saying. I feel like da 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 da, you know, and stuff like that. We laughed because it was funny, like, and we played clown, like, I feel, because and I feel, you know, I was clowning with it and everything like that, because it's just weird to say, like, you in an argument, like, who's gonna, just like you go through labor and stuff, and they tell you, ain't nobody thinking about no right. Right? You know, like, what is that? So, when you in a heated argument, you ain't thinking about, I feel like you just want to say what you gotta say and all that.
Take that time and laugh about it. Yeah. Then that probably takes some.
But it does work, because it's like oh, we sitting here. I feel.
I got a question. My biggest pet peeve, because when I'm in a heated argument and I realize it's not going anywhere, I shut down. I don't say nothing.
I do that.
Okay, but who has a talker though? The talker that just throws stuff out of their mouth while they're walking around doing stuff. Like, I've got a talker.
As far as the, like,
when in arguments, like when you're like, time out, like, I'm done, like, we're not talking about this, but they're walking off like, I don't know why you keep doing this. That's what I'm like. I look at Keith, I'm like, Keith, shut up.
I have a talker.
Just cut it.
Oh yeah, that's what I have to do.
I have a talker. I have a talker currently, and he talks. Oh my gosh, I'll be mad and I'll just shut down. Like you said, like, this isn't going anywhere. I'm just gonna shut down. And ever since I've been a kid, shutting down has been my thing.
Yeah,
like, I will shut down and just be.
Yep.
You would think I was asleep.
Yep.
But he'll go on saying stuff, and then he'll just keep saying something until he gets a reaction.
Yeah.
Until he gets until he triggers me. And then when I trigger, he blames me for being triggered.
And then you probably trigger and you say some stuff you ain't supposed to be saying.
Yeah.
You go off all, you know.
Saying some
you
stuff
ain't, and you ain't, and that ain't.
Yes, and I'm just
you going through the hurting the feelings.
Have you gotten to the bottom of why that happens?
No.
We've talked about it, and I'm like, why do you keep running your mouth? Yeah. And he was like, when you shut down, I feel like you cut me out of your entire world. Like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. So I'm like, just talking to you. Like, just say something. Like, I don't care.
Anything,
just get it. I'm like, so you want me to cuss you out?
I didn't have the talker. I had the mess with you and be like, because he ain't mad no more, so I don't have no right to be mad. So he'd be like, You know you.
Oh, he does that too. I hate that.
Want to try to make me laugh, and then I laugh, and then I'm like, I'm still pissed at you and stuff, but he would not let me be mad, which I guess is kind of a good thing. But I need my time. Like, you just had your whole 15, 20 minutes to be mad.
Yeah.
Now I need my 15, 20 minutes to be mad. But now that you good, I can't have my 15, 20 minutes to be mad. Like, that used to piss me off. I'm just like, ooh. But like I said, it was a good, bad thing. But yeah, I don't have a talker. I'm more of a shutdown, or I may be the talker. If I feel
now.
That's
hey,
you,
I talk too much. No, I talk too much, but sometimes it depends on the situation. If I know that I'm right, I like to have the last word, and I'm not even gonna lie. I will keep going.
Oh
but
my
if it's
God.
a situation that I really
word,
don't want to argue about, I would shut the down because you really don't want me to keep going, because I would say the ugliest of the ugliest ish, and then it would escalate.
Yeah.
So, like now, I would try to pick my battles and be like, okay. It just depends on the situation, because like I said, we had a very ugly situation before, and I don't want it to get to that point. So I'll just keep it, like, if it's something petty and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna leave this alone, I'll just be like, look, dude, leave me alone, because if you don't leave me alone, it's gonna turn ugly real quick and real fast. So then usually that'll de-escalate the situation. But I could be a talker. Christina.
Yeah. I could be that last word. I'm not be a talker, but I could be that last word. Like, you ain't finna get the last word.
If it's an argument that I'm passionate about, I'm getting that last word.
Yeah, he wants that last word, and I'll just be like, shh.
I'll be like, dude, shut up. I'm not talking about this number, and I'll just say it. Like, I'm not.
Let's be real though. How many of us have said leave me alone, and then when they do leave us alone, now we mad they left us alone for a whole hour? You really not gonna text me for an hour, fool?
Right. So you still got an attitude because you've been quiet this whole time. But you just told me to leave you alone.
They're damned if they do. They're damned if they don't. Right. So I don't know.
Do you hold grudges? I'm the type. I don't really hold grudges though. Like,
I don't hold grudges. Nah.
I usually will just be like, whatever.
I'm good. And
I will hold a grudge until there's an understanding, and then once we have that understanding, then I let it go.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I won't bring it up no more, because there's no longer a misunderstanding. But as long as I have a misunderstanding and I don't understand something, and you're not willing to help me get that understanding, I'm pissed. Because it's fucking with me.
Now, do you do it before you go to bed? Because I can't. Like, if we're going to go, like, if it's something that happened during the day, we're not gonna lay down together and I'm still mad. Yeah, because you're not gonna lay next to me and I'm gonna be mad. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
We gotta put them pillows in.
No, we still lay down together.
Scoot over. Don't talk to me. He moving the blanket. I'm like, cuddle me.
Right? No, hold me tonight. I'm cuddling.
Right. The other night, I'm like, well, you cuddle me, and he's like, damn, all right.
Right? No,
I'm cuddling you. Look at you, man.
It has to be settled before I go to bed.
Yeah, me too. I'm that way too.
I won't sleep right.
Yeah,
that's that old school.
Yep.
They say fight your battles, pick your battles. I mean, the ones you're gonna fight, and they say don't ever go to bed angry.
Yep.
And always say you love you, I love you before you go to bed.
That's true.
Stuff, because you never know when that person's going, if they gonna wake up the next day or not.
Yeah. Or if they leave the next morning to go to work or do whatever they need to do, they may not come back to you, and that's something you definitely don't want to live with. So.
Yes.
I agree with that one.
That's that old school knowledge.
One of the things that we had established was we never hop into the car pissed off with each other. Like, we don't get in the car together, especially when we have the kids.
Oh, that's a good idea, though. That is, because I know there's plenty of times I got in the car and I'm pissed off, and I'm not a speeder. But while you in that car,
I've had those.
I'm like, attitude.
Yeah, after my panic attack on Friday, I hopped in the car, and I had my brother and one of my good friends in the car. I was like, get out the car, because you don't want to be in my car, and I'll get out. Go get in Keith's car, because nah. And sure enough, as soon as they got off, like all the speed bumps, like they're like, oh crap. And Keith was like, come in here. Well, it's okay, we'll follow her, she'll be all right. But yeah, never together. We never get in the car together when we're angry. We try to always resolve it before we leave. When we're in front of people, and that's the thing, I feel like domestic violence happens because of these little things and before it. Like, there are precursors to it. Like, you see situations escalating, okay? It starts with storming, and then slamming doors, and then throwing shit, and then now, like, when you don't solve it here when you first seen it, it's going to get worse, and it's gonna add on to it and build, because now they're gonna do Like last week I broke something. Next week I'm gonna break something else. It's like I'm gonna break something bigger. Like, and that's just where it gets. So we just try to identify that because I know I have a very strong will, and bless him for putting up with it. Like,
shout out to Keith.
Yes, shout out.
It's like when I have a strong conviction about something, it's just what I say, that's it. I'm done. I'm not talking about the subject any longer. And then he waits. And then, when we're out in front of people and we have a disagreement, like we've come to, I was like, I need you to figure out how to section it off, box it, put it on the shelf, and then keep smiling. We're not worried about that until we're out away from people.
Exactly.
Like, we can do that. Like, you can be annoyed with me, but don't be rude to me. Don't treat me any different in front of people. I won't be rude to you. I won't call you out your name in front of people. But once we in private, bet it's on. Let's do it. It's on.
The boxing gloves, come on.
Yes, exactly.
So, our IG is Skirt Talk Show. On there's information about domestic violence. Our Facebook is Skirt Talk. On there as well, there's information about domestic violence. If you guys need any help, more resources, need to talk about anything, call us. Our number is 213-AZ-SKIRT. Again, that's 213-AZ-SKIRT. You also can text us on that as well. Next week, everybody tune in, share, like, tell your friends. We are celebrating Miss Angela's birthday. So we will be doing have you played Have You Ever?
Yes,
so get your drink.
Never have I ever.
Never have I ever. Look, I ain't played the game.
The last time I played that game, I got drunk in a half hour.
But we want you guys to be involved. I want the listeners to play with us as well. So if you guys have questions for
so if you got questions to ask us for us, we'll be looking at our phones and stuff so we can ask those questions. Get y'all drink. So y'all can go ahead and drink with us, have fun with us, and that's all that show is gonna be all about.
And don't worry, y'all, we're gonna have drivers to come get us.
I'm a designated driver. I'm probably gonna drink about that much.
No, we're gonna have my daughter take us home. My oldest.
I'm gonna drink my juice. I'm gonna be drinking my juice.
No,
I'm making the drink next week. You ready?
Yes.
We ready?
So
I'm ready.
But y'all tune in past that. We'll also be doing a Cash App giveaway. So make sure if you don't have Cash App, sign up, get a Cash App, because we'll be doing Cash App giveaway during the game as well. So thank you for tuning in.
Oh, and we should do a game too. Guess how? Oh, I think I already said it.
How old you gonna be?
Yeah, how old I'm gonna be. Yeah,
we're gonna
some
do
people already know. Some people, I'm sure people that know me is gonna know, but
I don't.
If you know Angela,
you know what I'm gonna be?
If you know Angela, do not say how old she is and spoil it for the ones that don't know.
Right.
But if you guess her age correctly or you're the closest, we'll also give you a little prize too. So, Angela, this is there right there, birthday girl, going on. I'm just
Team Virgo. We love us some Virgos.
But thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. And we out. Skirt Talk. Peace.
When you hear the Angie Austin and Michael Pelka Show,
people I know who have their seedlings